And that's with regards to, of course, the Beer Association of South Africa. Well, they say the extended alcohol ban will be the death knell for many small craft brewers. It says more than 160,000 people have already lost their jobs. Beer Association CEO Patricia Pillay speaks to us now. Thank you so much for your time and good morning to you, Ms. Pillay. I mean, understandably, of course, you know, the beer industry as a whole hard hit, at least one of those sectors hard hit at this time. And as far as, you know, small business are concerned, jobs are concerned, but it seems the president is adamant that this has alleviated a lot of pressure from the hospitals.
Yes, good morning. I think we're the only industry that's actually not trading at the moment. And it's quite sad in terms of the impact that it's having to the livelihoods of our people. When you look at also the number of jobs, like you've said, that have been lost, these people now do not have access to proper nutrition. They do not have proper access to healthcare as well. And to get all those vitamins, nutrients, etc., that they need to also survive COVID. And I think that gets forgotten, is that there's this whole industry that's behind, there's a whole lot of people that's behind this industry, and yet we've been shut down. And it's, you know, when you look at 2020, if you really put together how many months of trade we've only had 3 months of trade in 2020. And how do you expect our small businesses to survive? So it's really not a good time for us as an industry as a whole.
What about illicit trade? I mean, yes, I understand that perhaps you haven't been trading, but we do know that there were reports coming in of, you know, the black market still benefiting from this ban. How has it affected industry?
Well, this is the problem, and this is what I always maintain, is that with illicit trade, once the market is established, it is there. It does not go away. They just develop their clientele and boost their clientele. With the previous announcement of the president, as the president made the announcement, already people were getting SMSs with regards to the sale of alcohol on this black market. People are selling alcohol at 3 times the price of the original price that we would normally sell it in trade. And so it's unacceptable that this is the consequence, an unintended consequence of the actual lockdown. And so it's not stopping the sale of alcohol. And I think that's the point that the industry has always made, and we have made as BASA, is that we are not stopping the sale of alcohol or the consumption of alcohol. Even with the previous lockdown with the president on the immediate ban, people had stocked up in any event for Christmas. People had stock on hand. So it's really a difficult discussion to have, I think, right now with the time constraints. But it is various complications with regards to illicit trade, but we do need to take into account livelihoods as well.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen, you know, AB and Bev's SAB sort of, you know, lodging that urgent application to challenge this ban. Are you in support of SAB and what they stand for just in time, even though they've received criticism that it seems that they're placing profits before livelihoods?
You know, what we need to understand is SAB, AB, InBev has a long history in our country, and I think we're all aware of that. They employ the largest number of people in this industry, and they are also the largest contributor in terms of the alcohol industry as a whole. So when you look at who has the most impact, it is them. And so you would not be surprised that they would be most concerned by this impact. And in terms of livelihoods, they've managed to actually maintain and pay all their staff. They've managed not to retrench in this time. And I think it's got to a point now where it's just untenable. So I can't speak on behalf of them. The matter is still at court. But what I do want to say is that when government sometimes pushes us into a corner, there are no alternatives. And I think this is what we're finding in terms of our value chain as well. This last announcement now, really, it's just untenable for us as an industry. It's left us with very little alternatives. And we as BASA have always remained that we want to keep an open door with government. We want to keep engagement. But to be honest, right until yesterday's announcement, we had no idea of what that announcement was. You know, lack of transparency, lack of communication. We've really encouraged government to say, look, let's work together. some of the proposals we've made is let's leave the curfews in place, so we can control. When you look at the hospital, and I know the biggest comment has been the posts that have come up in terms of the trauma units. And I mean, I want to talk about that because I think it's important, and we absolutely applaud that. But what goes hand in hand with that is never before has there been a lockdown during a New Year's Eve. Never. So, we have to look at what is the real reasoning. Is it alcohol? Is it the strict curfew? Is it enhanced enforcement? So what we've suggested is, open up for off-consumption. So at least start with that. At least start with off-consumption. People can sit at home. They can socially, be social at home. They don't need to go out and be out there and create these super spreader events, etc. But they can enjoy responsibly. And keep the curfews in place so that people are not out on the roads, not causing accidents, not filling up those trauma units.
Right.
These are the proposals that we've put forward. But as I said, there hasn't been a middle ground. Nobody's met us halfway. So to answer that question in a long-winded way, sometimes we've been put in a corner and we need to do what we need to do to save livelihoods.
The Association of SA CEO, Patricia Pillay, thank you so much.